ProPublica is out with another blockbuster report, this time uncovering a suite of 9 witnesses that have been involved in Trump's criminal cases thus far, who have gotten, in a variety of different forms, big old paydays ever since they got involved in his legal struggles. One campaign aide had his average monthly pay double from $26,000 to $53,500. To be clear, that's monthly pay. Jesus. Another employee got a $2 million severance package, barring him from voluntarily cooperating with law enforcement, which is a hell of a thing to get from the law and order candidate, by the way, the back of the blue. You will lose $2 million if you work with the cops. Is sure a way to show support for our law enforcement officers. One of the campaign's top officials had her daughter hired onto the campaign staff, where she's now the 4th highest paid employee. And we're gonna dive more into that particular case because it is by far my favorite. But I want to talk about other individual cases too. So first we have Boris Epshteyn, a name that you've probably heard for a number of years now in the Trump orbit. He received a big jump in the payments that he was getting per month. So here is a log of his payments. And you can see that going back to the beginning of 2023, he's making a huge amount of money per month. But seemingly, instantaneously after he was indicted in the election interference case, his payments more than doubled, close to tripled, which is nice and totally a coincidence. That doesn't mean anything.
Hey, I'm glad you're here. Listen, in order for the damage report to keep on going, we need viewers like you to become a member on YouTube. Can you click the join button on YouTube today? Thank you.
There's a lot of them and the details are too much, but let's talk about a few specific ones. So Susie Wiles, head of the Trump campaign, payments to her firm spiked and the campaign ended up hiring her daughter. More on that in just a sec. Margot Martin got a 20% raise, not bad in this economy. Dan Scavino was appointed to the board of Trump Media. All of these are after they got roped into the legal struggles or whatever. Jennifer Little, no, these are all the same thing. Jennifer Little payments to her law firm dramatically increased. Same for Evan Corcoran, one that we talked about in this trial. Alan Weisselberg also got his big severance package. And Trump still talks about him quite a bit to this day. But I want to return to Susie Wiles because this is, as I said, my favorite. So when Trump was indicted back on June 8th of 2023 over his handling of the classified documents, the indictment described Wiles as a PAC representative. It described Trump allegedly showing her a classified map related to a military operation. You remember this document, acknowledging that he should not be showing it and warning her to not get too close. It's one of the best pieces of evidence that he didn't just accidentally take this stuff. He delighted in having it and being able to show it to people, even if it was incredibly sensitive. Okay, so that June, Right Coast Strategies, that's the political consulting firm that Wiles founded, received its highest ever monthly payment from the Trump campaign, $75,000, an amount the firm has equaled only once since. So that is big money, a big increase in money, but that's nothing compared to what happened next. A few months later, the Wiles family got some more good news. The Wiles' daughter, Caroline, who had done some work for Trump's first campaign and in the White House, where she reportedly left one job because she didn't pass a background check, which I just love as a detail, was hired by his campaign. Her salary, $222,000, making her currently the 4th highest paid staffer. So this person who had kicked around doing a little bit of work and couldn't even pass a background check is making close to $250,000, more than almost anyone else in his orbit. And she just happens to be related with Wiles, who could potentially be a witness in one of the most significant cases against him, which I love. But there's an added thing that makes it delicious, and it's the hypocrisy. Not that hypocrisy matters, but I will remind you that Donald Trump is very fond over the course of his trial in New York of posting things like this. Judge Juan Merchan, who is suffering from an acute case of Trump derangement syndrome, blah, 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 whose daughter represents crooked Joe Biden, has just posted a photo of me behind bars, her obvious goal. So that's enough. I don't need to say any more of her. The idea was, he's conflicted. You've heard this 1,000 times. Why is he conflicted? What has he done? What has he said? We don't know. He's not saying. All we know is that the judge's daughter is involved in politics, and that makes him conflicted. That makes the entire thing suspect. You can't have the trial at all. Meanwhile, they hire the daughter of one of the potential witnesses in one of his biggest cases, throw a massive salary at her that there's no evidence she is qualified for, and see if maybe that has an effect on the outcome. See if that has an effect on her willingness to participate in the investigation, cooperate with law enforcement and all that. This is obviously an attempt to conflict Susie Wiles in this particular case. Seems clear to me. They're gonna respond to this reporting, which is very in-depth, and you should go to ProPublica as always and read everything they put there. But they say a Trump campaign official said that any raises or other benefits provided to witnesses were the result of their taking on more work due to the campaign or his legal cases heating up, or because they took on new duties. And in fact, one of his attorneys, who we'll see if he ended up getting some sort of massive raise, sent ProPublica a cease and desist letter demanding that this article not be published. On what basis? There's no even assertion that they got a single fact wrong. Just once again, they're doing critical reporting of the actual elites in our society, and that makes it unacceptable. You're not supposed to do that, okay? So anyway, this could potentially be a problem for him. This, not just the fact that he did this in one case, but the pattern that's now been established. If it is likely that you will be drawn into one of his cases, there's a very good chance you got a big payday. And I have to imagine that juries and potentially judges will have a problem with that. And in particular, some are now analyzing, including a former US attorney, that could be a problem in these future trials. Prosecutors could point to the benefits to undermine the credibility of those aides on the witness stand. Because if a witness comes out and says, oh, he's great, he's never done anything wrong, and then you can show that your family has earned hundreds of thousands of dollars from Donald Trump, seemingly only after you were roped in again to these legal troubles, then yeah, that's gonna look pretty bad. But we'll see, we'll see. When you click the join button and become a tier 2 member, you get access to all of our weekly top 10 lists. What are you waiting for?